And we are back. Welcome to my predictions for Premier League Game Week 15, the first official game week that is being played in a midweek of the season. And it is a quite interesting one, I have to say. We've got a lot of big games taking place up and down the table over the course of this week. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy my predictions, and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And let's just get straight into it. And we kick things off with Wolves against Burnley in the early kickoff this evening. Two sides who have had a little bit of mixed fortune over the last few weeks. Burnley, of course, finally getting a massive win to kick off what you would say their season at the weekend with that 5-0 win over Sheffield United. Although I have to say, I wasn't too pleased with the comments on Match of the Day where it said it finally looked like they'd got to grips with the Premier League this weekend by beating the other side that got promoted from the Championship that had 10 men. So read into that what you will. Wolves very good as always against Arsenal, but not able to get the result. I just think tonight Wolves are too good for Burnley. I really do. I definitely could see Burnley producing a decent performance, but I just think Wolves have a lot more work rate, have a lot more quality, and in the end they'll come out on top. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Wolves. I could potentially see Koleosho doing something down the right-hand side, or Wolves' right-hand side, Burnley's left-hand side, potentially nicking a goal from there. But overall, I don't really see Burnley causing any trouble. The other game tonight is the big game this evening. It is Luton Town taking on Arsenal at the Kenny. And this really is a head versus heart sort of match for me. My heart says that Luton could nick this. I was very tempted to or even go for a Luton win for this prediction, especially after what happened in the Liverpool game. However, my head says that my heart's going to be in my mouth every single time Arsenal get the ball. So, again, I just think Arsenal are too good. I really struggle to see where Luton are going to score tonight. It's just going to be a case of, will Arsenal make mistakes defensively? They've definitely got mistakes in them. The Wolves goal at the weekend was from a mistake. So, there's definitely going to be opportunities, but again, I just think Arsenal are too good. Ever since Odegaard's come back, they've looked like they've gone up another level, and I just think Luton's defence, especially without Lockyer as well, is just going to get overrun. So as much as I say, as much as my heart says Luton will win tonight, my head says Arsenal take this one very comfortably, and I'm going to go for 3-0 to Arsenal. On to tomorrow's games, we start off at the Amex, and it's Brighton taking on Brentford in a game that I think is going to be very tight. Brighton, of course, lost to Chelsea despite Chelsea having 10 men. So, again, the mixed fortunes for Brighton in the Premier League. It's not quite been going their way. Brentford, of course, with the comfortable win over Luton last time out with their best set of stats in any Premier League game since they got promoted a few years ago. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think the form of João Pedro is probably going to end up being the difference in this game, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Brighton, but I do think genuinely that all three results are possible in this one. And I also think that all three results are possible in the other game, which is Crystal Palace against Bournemouth kicking off at the same time as the Brighton and Brentford game. Palace, again, as I spoke about with the West Ham game, they're playing well, but not quite producing results. That's why I went for a 1-1 draw last time out. Bournemouth, very, very similar. They played fantastic against Aston Villa, were well-deserved of their 2-2 draw. However, Semenyo probably should have been sent off, which would have made it a completely different game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Palace, but I was very close to doing my historic Crystal Palace 2-2 draw that I used to do a lot last season. Bournemouth are playing good football at the moment. They deserve some more points, but we'll see. My head says that Crystal Palace are going to edge this one. A little bit more one-sided, I feel, in the next game taking place at Craven Cottage. It is Fulham taking on Nottingham Forest, and again, Forest for me just aren't quite at the level they should be at the moment. I think the loss of Awoniyi, they are still feeling the effects of. Fulham were absolutely fantastic at Anfield, and they only went down to some incredible goals from Liverpool and a slightly controversial winner from Trent Alexander-Arnold, as there did seem to be a little bit of a push from Tsimikas in the back of the Cordova-Reid. It just seems whatever second row they put out, it was just very, very good football from them. I think they're going to be too much for Forest tonight. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Fulham. Next up, it's Sheffield United taking on Liverpool, and off the back of the 5-0 defeat to Burnley, it was a sacking for the Sheffield United manager, and it looks like Chris Wilder will be back in the dugout for this game. Liverpool, of course, off the back of the 4-3 game against Fulham, are going to be looking for a little bit more defensive solidarity, although it does look like that Matip is now out injured as well, to add to their growing injury list of Robertson and Alisson in that back line, as well as Jota and Thiago going forward as well. I just don't think Sheffield United have got a lot to offer at the moment. I think Wilder's going to have to come in and try and reinforce that back five that he had when he was there the first time around. I think this game is too soon for Sheffield United to really see any signs of improvement. So I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to Liverpool. On to the two later games in tomorrow's action. We start off with Aston Villa against Manchester City. Aston Villa, with 12 games in a row winning at home against a Manchester City side which do not win without Rodri, and Rodri is suspended, as is Jack Grealish going back to his former club. So, to me, that just puts all the favour in Aston Villa's side. And obviously Manchester City only drew with Tottenham at the weekend. They're not playing the best of football again at the moment. I think this is a prime opportunity for Aston Villa to capitalise. And I'm going to go for 2-1 to Aston Villa. But we'll see. That might be my Manchester United bias coming into play. But I do think Aston Villa are more than capable of beating Manchester City this week. Speaking of Manchester United bias, we now move on to Manchester United and Chelsea. And I really don't know where to put this game. If you said to me right now, who are the two most inconsistent sides in the Premier League, I'd probably say Manchester United and Chelsea, because you just don't know what sort of performance you're going to get from either of these sides. As a Manchester United fan, I think Chelsea are probably going to win because I don't trust these Manchester United players at the moment when a big game comes around. And although Chelsea haven't been so good over the last few years, this is still a big game. And I think if Erik ten Hag starts Martial and Rashford again, when I do my reaction video tomorrow, I'm probably going to be calling for Ten Hag's head, because you cannot start players that put in that little effort in the previous game in this game. So I just don't know how this game is going to go. I think there are going to be goals at both ends. I think there are mistakes in both midfields. There are mistakes in both defences. And I think both sides have good attackers going forward. So I think this could be absolutely anything. My head says it's going to be 3-2. I don't know which way it's going to be 3-2, because Manchester United don't do draws this season. So my head says it's going to be 3-2 one way or another. So I'm going to let the bias get the better of me, and I'm going to go for 3-2 to Man United. But genuinely, this could be 1-0 either way. This could be 5-4 either way. I really think this game could be absolutely anything. On to Thursday then, we have two games on Thursday. The first one is at Goodison Park between Everton and Newcastle. More injury blows for Newcastle. Nick Pope with a dislocated shoulder, requiring an operation that's going to put him out for 4 months. Not seeing him come back till right towards the end of the season, probably ending his Euro hopes as well. Everton, of course, were again mixed form for them. They're playing some very, very good football. A great result for them at the weekend against Nottingham Forest, bouncing back from the defeat to Manchester United. I think Everton are going to get something out of this game. I really do. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Obviously, there was that incredible goal from Isak, or the goal from Jacob Murphy, because of the incredible run from Isak last season in this fixture. So, Newcastle probably still go in as favourites. I just have a little feeling that Everton are going to nick something from this game. So, I'm going to go for 1-1. But don't be surprised to see Newcastle blow Everton away as well. And then finally, we have Tottenham taking on West Ham in yet another London derby. I think Tottenham are going to win this one. I think West Ham are a little bit off form at the moment. They've not played great the last few games. That's why I went for the draw with Crystal Palace at the weekend, which of course it was. Tottenham put up a hell of a lot more of a fight than I expected against Manchester City. We know how Tottenham are going to play. I think it's going to be too much for West Ham. And now they've got a few players coming back from injury as well, Tottenham. I think that's going to help them as well. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Tottenham to round off the midweek fixtures. And that is going to be it. As always, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you on Friday as we do our predictions for Game Week 16. I'll see you then.